Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and this is a yarn chat video, only because I'm not exactly sure what else to call it. So I finally completed a full project this summer. I know I have all these high hopes at the beginning of summer vacation, and I start working on something, and then I got bored with it, and I started working something else, and then I started knitting socks, which I'm currently in the one sock club, but only because I'm really struggling with how to start it and I don't want to ask for help. So I decided, after fooling around for like a month, I was going to finish something. So I finished a baby blanket, not that hard, not that crazy. I've been talking about it for a little while with y'all. It's just made with Premier Everyday Anti-Pilling yarn in the colorway denim. I didn't do anything to color control. I just let the colors come as they did. And then for the border, I just did this like twisty chain border. I can look in my past videos because I've done a tutorial on how I've done this video or this border. It's not very exciting. In fact, it doesn't look very good with one solid color. Usually I do it with opposing colors. But yeah, it's a pretty sizable baby blanket. As usual, my kids are interested in stealing it. And I actually completely finished this. I even wove in my ends. So you won't have to, it's not one of those things that's mostly done. And then a little while later, I go to give it away, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't weave in my ends. So that is my big finished project right there. So then I was kind of on the hunt for something to do. I debated doing the Crochet Society project, I want to say for May, which was like this carnival theme or whatever. So there was a lion amigurumi in there, and then also a bag. I thought the bag would be easy to complete and quick, and then maybe I could take a picture of it, and it would end up on one of the Crochet Society pamphlets. But I really don't love crochet bags. I mean, I don't hate them. I just feel like there's a lot to do to make them like really usable. Like you really should, because crochet is holy, get some kind of fabric lining in there. And then also handles, I feel personally, have a tendency to be stretchy. And so I like to put like ribbon or sew kind of some fabric on the back. And so it turns from being a quick project. Speaking of stretchy crochet bags, I must have just been driving through town, and there was a woman waiting at a bus stop in my town, because we actually have functioning buses and bus stops. And she had a crochet bag on, and it was hanging on her shoulder, and probably like a little bit past her elbow was where the start of like it was like a market bag, and it stretched all the way down to her knee. And either it was just a really long bag and that's the design she went for, or it stretched, or she used it a lot, but it just kind of looked funny, which reminded me why I'm not completely a fan. I got something going on in my eye here, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Now, I did start a couple of things because somebody in our group, and I wish I would have remembered her name, in the Summer's Tips and Stitches Facebook group, did this really outstanding, I don't know if you call it a chevron or a zigzag blanket. I think it was blue and white. So then I'm like, oh, I'm going to do one of those. My swap partner had mailed me two really big, one of the skeins of yarn. We think maybe Pound of Love. I don't know. It doesn't say on it what it is. It's a Mill's End or whatever, which I'm fine with. Yarn is yarn. In orange and peach. No, peach and white. So I was like, oh, well, let me get started on that. And then I'll just do alternating rows. Well, I was struggling with the counts. Yeah, I sure was. And I could never keep the same count between, actually between wasn't bad. It was the beginning and end. So I've got this much of it, and then I have like a ton of it that I frogged out. So I have a pile here. So then I was like, well, you know, Summer, let's try something where you don't need to do a lot of counting. Now, I'm going to show you a picture or a couple of pictures of the next item that I was trying to make. Okay, so those pictures are stolen off of a Facebook group. It was a link, which I will type into the description box below, where you can purchase that pattern from an Etsy shop. Now, one of my coworkers at work said, oh, isn't this cute? And it is. It's really cute. I love those little octopuses. In fact, Doris made me this one. Look how cute that is. And initially I thought, well, I'll just make one of these. But then I decided if I make a couple of these and then try to make that big octopus, because I remembered what Kylie had posted, I was like, oh, that'd be cute. Look at this one, even has like a little flower on her head. So I started that. And this is the yarn I started. Also, I got this from Joanne. I don't know if it's just because that was all sitting out and this is blue and sparkly. I started the octopus last night. No pattern. I did not purchase the Etsy pattern, which I probably just should do. But I started to make the little octopi. One octopus, multiple octopi. So I am debating on just sitting down here and chilling today. I mean, I do have to take Maddie to and from a birthday party. And just banging out some octopi. Multiple octopuses. I don't know, you guys, what they're called. I should, right? I don't know. That's what I'm going to do, though. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do, because I think that's a really cute toy. I may break down and buy the pattern. If I do, I'll let you guys know. Now, the thing that's been filling my time, I just thought I would share with you, aside from starting projects and leaving them half raveled everywhere, is I started reading a book series. Now, it's been a little bit of a journey. So I initially started reading. Okay, so let me start at the beginning. I, growing up, loved reading. I was one of those types that would get a book and read it in a day or two because I couldn't stop. Everything in my life got postponed. And I was like that all through middle school, high school, and college. Well, then I got married and I had kids and I wasn't able to just sit and read a book straight through. Babies take a lot of time. And so I was really frustrated because I'm not very good at just reading a book and putting it down and coming back and reading another chapter. Like I said, I have to read the story straight through, kind of like a movie, right? So I took a huge break from reading. Then I started watching the Outlander show. And when I say huge break, I want to say 10 years. I'd read kids' books, or when my kids needed me, when they were being assigned books for school, I would quick skim through them and read them. I did that, and I read for work, but I didn't sit down to read a book to love it. So then, I did have a brief time where I was reading books about polygamy. I know, weird. It was one of those things I just couldn't turn away from for a while. And I think it had to have been when Maddie and Jaren were a little older, before Flynn was born, because it was when we lived in Sturgeon Bay. So anyway, I started watching Outlander just a couple years ago now, maybe 2 years ago. I'm obsessed with them. I love history. I love historical fiction. I love historical books in general, even if biographies, when they write about someone else, and autos when yourself. Anyway, so I started watching Outlander, and the TV shows weren't coming out fast enough. And so then I found out they were books, so I started reading those. And then I kind of caught up to where the seasons are, because now they're up to season 6. And then I saw Bridgerton on TV when I was waiting for Outlander, and I never finished reading through all my Outlander books because they're really fat. Now, it's not that I can't read them, but they're awkward to hold because they're really fat. So anyway, I wanted to do some more reading, and I read up all the books that I got for Mother's Day, which were 4 books. And then I remembered when I was cleaning out my shelves that I had this book series from when I was in high school that I loved. So I must have lost some in the years, or I didn't look very good in the basement, because I found some, but I couldn't find them all. And so then I'll show you the first one that I found. And I didn't read it first because it's book 2, and it's called Love's Long Journey. Nope, this has to be book 3. Yes, book 3. And this is the pictures that were on the books when I bought them, or when I read them in high school. My mom probably bought them. And there's like 8 books in this series. In fact, some of you may know because they do have one of Janette Oke's, the author of this series. Some of her books have been made into like Hallmark or on Netflix or something. I don't know. But Love Comes Softly series is the one that I read in high school. Love Comes Softly, Love Endurance, Promise. Here they are. I'm not going to read them all to you, but they're right there. Pop up for a minute and take a look. I think the Canadian West series, When Calls the Heart, that is, I believe, on Netflix or Hulu or something, and that's about that school teacher. I watched those, and I'm going to tell you, those were tragic. I was not happy how those ones ended. So anyway, I started up again on these. So I ended up going to Goodwill to try to find, because when you look on Amazon, these are hard to come by because they were printed a really long time ago. Copyright on this one is 1982. So I was able to find a few. So I have this one here, you guys, is as old as I am. This one is copyright 1979. And so this is the old cover. That's Clark and Missy, and that's Marty. And then this is the newer ones. If I recall, I think this is Missy grown up and her guy Willie. Yeah. So I started reading these. Now, the nice thing about these ones, I read this one in one day because my kids are big kids. And I just sat on the couch and read. And then I went outside and sat on the porch and read. And then I read it while I was waiting for my tires to get rotated. And then I read it straight through because, you guys, I'm a straight through reader. And then I read book 2, which I guess I left upstairs. I have book 3. I have not started because I wanted to make sure before I got crazy. Maybe I already am. That I had all the books. So I went back to Goodwill. And the only one I could get was Love Takes Wing. Because somehow, since I was a kid, I lost all the others. I only had a couple. I think I have 3. And then I decided to get whatever Janette Oke, let's see, her name's better on this one, Janette Oke books I could get. So then at Goodwill, the ones that I bought yesterday was The Winds of Autumn, which comes from the Seasons of the Heart series. I only got one of those. No. Then I got something about dawn. Oh, When Breaks the Dawn. That's from the Canadian West series. That is a very sad book series. And then I think I got the one from the devotional series down here. Now, I can look through, if you are someone who does not get out and about and you don't have a Goodwill near you, I can look through and put some links for some of these books. They're just really nice, simple stories. They're like going through the Pioneer West, so like Little House on the Prairie, but rather than being from the kid point of view, they're from Marty and Clark, and then they have some kids, and their kids' point of view is from, like, I want to say, well, they got married quite young in those days, 17, 18, so it's about new love, right? The new love, and then kind of the tragedy and the miracles of life, the good things that happen and the bad, you know, partners dying, children dying, having kids, falling in love, reuniting, but they're not inappropriate, if you know what I mean. It's just simple stories. And like I said, the Love Comes Softly series goes off of Clark and Marty, and it's really good. So that's what I've been doing, just devouring these. I started this in one day, read this one in like a day and a half, well, the book 2. And that's what's been taking me away from crochet, because I have yet to figure out a way to read and crochet at the same time. I obviously can watch movies and crochet, but I've yet, and listening to books on tape, I know a lot of people do that, or listening to audiobooks on Audible. But I just didn't want to join another subscription service. We're already subscribed to every type of streaming thing under the sun. So, but it was really nice. The other book I read, which I'll put a link in the description to some of these books. Some of them do, a couple of them, like I said, have movies. Some of the Janette Okes have movies or whatnot. I'm going to double check for you all. I think mostly on Netflix. Then also I read a book from something Francis, maybe Jill Francis, called Redeeming Love, which after reading it, now I had that book for a year before I read it. I got it at Goodwill as well. And that was made into a movie, and it's on Amazon. Of course, the book is better. There's a lot more going on. They tried their best, I can tell you, is a really good movie adaptation of a book. They really did try to get it all in there, but there was just so much, and there's only so much you could do in an hour and a half. So that was really good. That movie was free on Amazon. Well, we have an Amazon Prime subscription, so I didn't have to pay for that movie. But that's really what I've been doing is just reading books. It's been nice to read again. And like I said, I'm so blessed that my children are in that age where they can all, you know, take care of themselves. I'm just here to make sure nobody burns down the house or fights themselves to death with their sibling. But yeah, so I think my project today is to maybe try to do some of those, do an octopus and a little family. There you go. Without having to try to pluralize it, I said it. And maybe wait a few days and go back to Goodwill to see if I can find some of those missing books. I suppose I could look on Etsy, but then you have shipping and handling. And I got real lucky, y'all, because the books at Goodwill were $3.99, and it just so happened that it was Purple Sticker Day, which means at my Goodwill, they choose a color of the sticker, and purple sticker was 50% off. Yeah. So I got all the books all that Janette had in that Hobby Lobby, or in that Goodwill, for 50% off. So they were really only a couple bucks, which makes it terrible. Like, you can find the whole series, the Love series, on Amazon, but I want to say it's like $138. Especially since at one point I owned it all. I'm not going to do that. All right, you guys, that is all for this long video. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.